Rob Woods. Rob Woods, would you please come up? Rob Woods. I see him waving in the back. Once again, all participants in today's rallies must remain on the ground level. We are not allowed up on the step area. Shanae Jackson, please report to the podium. Shanae Jackson. All speakers, please report by the microphone. Carla Rivera. Carla Rivera. Once again, we are live streaming today, and we'd like to ask that the black tape in front of the podium please stay outside of there. That'll also give our media an opportunity to capture today's event. Thank you. If anyone needs the restroom, go around the house building, go through security, and the restroom is inside the house.
Beverly Cassius, please come to the front. Beverly Cassius, please come to the front. Thank you.
Once again, we're just a couple of minutes away from starting. There is black tape right in front of the podium. If we could, please remain on the outside of that tape. That'll allow our live stream as well as our media to capture today's events. Once again, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, if you can kind of get everyone to kind of come center behind the camera, so to the right, that'll help.
Hello, come on up, y'all. Who wants to be a part of this rally? Woo!
All right, folks, we're going to get started in 1 minute. If you could, please make your way closer to the podium. I need all my speakers here at the podium behind me. And we're going to fill in, if you can leave some room here for the cameras, and fill in behind the cameras and to the left and to the right, please.
Yes, please keep this.
Yep. We'll block it right here. Okay.
Appreciate you.
Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Hey, hey, ho, ho, rig maps have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, rig maps have got to go. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what fair maps look like. Hey, hey, ho, ho, rig maps have got to go. Whose maps? Whose maps? Whose maps? Whose power? Whose power? Whose power? All right, let's go. All right, so if we can get a few folks to fill in here and get some more folks on this side, please.
Come on up, y'all. Don't be shy. Fill out right over here, please, and thank you.
Democracy looks like. Good morning. I want to thank you all for being here today. My name is Genesis Robinson, And I am the Executive Director of Equal Ground Education Fund and Equal Ground Action Fund. We're a Black-led statewide voting rights organization working to build political power in our communities. I also stand before you today as part of the No Partisan Maps Coalition, a group of Floridians, organizations, and leaders and communities from across this state who have come to Tallahassee with one simple message: hands off our maps. Hands off our maps. Hands off our maps. I want to start by thanking every single person who is here with us today. To those of you who traveled hours by bus or by car, for those of you who rearranged your work schedules, for those of you who made the decision that this moment matters, we thank you. We see you. They counted you out. They thought that they could slip this through without you paying attention. When they denied public comment, we still showed up. When they tried to limit access by putting us in small committee rooms, we still showed up. When they repeatedly shifted their rationale and the schedule, we still showed up. When they tried to deny us space at the Capitol, we still showed up. And when they tried to stall us by releasing a partisan power grab map less than 24 hours before the start of session, we still showed up. What is happening right now in Florida is not normal. We are witnessing an illegal power grab by greedy politicians who want to control the outcome of our elections before we even cast a vote. They want to rig maps so that they can pick their voters instead of voters picking their politicians. Just yesterday, Ron DeSantis went on Fox News and confirmed what Floridians already knew, and that this is a power grab. Let's call it what it is. It's an attempt to rig the system. They want you to believe that this is politics as usual. But there's nothing usual about drawing maps designed to guarantee that 24 of the 28 congressional seats perform for one political party. To give 85% of our seats to a party that doesn't even have at least 50% of the vote in Florida is a problem. From where I come from, that's called cheating. From where Ms. Slater and I and Mr. Moore come from, we call that stacking the deck. That's changing the rules in the middle of the game. This unprecedented, unfair, and deeply unpopular scheme did not come out of nowhere. The current occupant of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, he has been loud and unapologetic in calling on conservative states to do his bidding, to rig the maps, to shield himself and his party from accountability, and to tilt the scales of power in their favor. Now, we've seen Texas and Missouri and North Carolina already have acted. And now all eyes shift to the Sunshine State. And boy, is that sun ever shining today. But this kind of political manipulation has no place in Florida. Because in this state, we have the Fair District Amendments approved by the voters to protect our democracy. In this state, the voters said that we want to ensure fairness and stop exactly this kind of abuse of power. And let me be clear, the Fair District amendments are not optional. They're not suggestions. They are edicts by the voters of this state telling our lawmakers how to draw our maps. And we demand from the people of Florida that politicians draw their maps fairly. Not maps that serve their political interests. It might have worked in Texas. It might have worked in other states. But I got news for Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, this legislature, and any politician who wants to take away our power. This is Florida, and that dog won't hunt. We are not going to let you silence or rig our democracy without a fight. Because when you draw lines, you are deciding who has power and who does not. You are deciding whose voice matters and whose voice does not. And too often it is communities of color and working class people who pay the price. The people of Florida are tired. Tired of politicians changing the rules to benefit themselves. Tired of decisions being made behind closed doors. Tired of being told that our voices do not matter. Because we know the truth. And our voices do matter. Especially in a democracy. Because in a democracy, that is when we have access to it. It only works when we have access to it. Our voices are our power. That's how we protect our schools. That's how we ensure that our state is affordable. That's how we ensure we have access to quality health care and education. If we lose fair representation, we lose our ability to shape the issues that matter to us. We are here standing together because we will not accept an attack on our democracy. We're here to demand transparency, fairness, accountability. And we're here to remind those in power that the people of Florida are paying attention. So today, as we rally at the people's capital, let me say that again, as we rally at the people's capital, as we speak in committee rooms, as we meet directly with legislators, and as people across the state who couldn't join us here today are making phone calls and sending emails and raising their voices alongside us, let our presence be felt. Let our voices be heard. And let our power be undeniable. We will not back down. We will not be silent. And we will not allow our democracy to be rewritten without a fight. Thank you for being here, and let's build power. Enough is enough. 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 So at this time, we're going to hear from Amy Keith with Common Cause Florida. Amy?
Thank you. Woo. Thank you. Let's hope I can see some stuff. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Amy Keith. I'm the Executive Director for Common Cause Florida, and I am a Florida voter. Who else here is a Florida voter? Let me hear you. Woo! So, all you Florida voters, do you want politicians in that building drawing a new congressional map today? No. What was that? No. That's right, because a majority of Floridians oppose mid-decade redistricting. 55% of us, voters across political parties, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, even a plurality of voters who voted for the current sitting president, even elected Republican officials oppose mid-decade redistricting. Do we want a new map? No. They are keeping us out of the process because they know we do not want a new map. Now, how about a partisan map? Do we want that? No. We see the government's excuses for what they are, to cover up for his partisan game. Over 15 years ago, 63% of us voted to make partisan maps illegal in the state of Florida, and today we still want partisan gerrymandering to be illegal. Poll after poll after poll has shown that Floridians do not want partisan maps. We did a poll in September, and it found that 66% of Floridians actually want Congress to step in to make partisan map drawing illegal, and you know it's got to be bad if a majority of Floridians want Congress to step in and fix it. Now, you know what Floridians do want? 76% of us want voting maps that put community interests ahead of political advantage. And I'll tell you, I looked at that map yesterday, and I looked at my district, and I do not understand exactly what St. Petersburg and Wauchula have in common from a community interest standpoint, and that does not feel fair to my community. Well, but I'm also here to tell you that this isn't all darkness. Look at us here. We are pushing back. And we have an answer. We have the governor and the legislature passing law after law after law to entrench their own power and to silence our voices. But we have an answer. We have an answer that democracy champions in our legislature have filed year after year after year, and it is called the Harry T. and Harriet V. Moore Florida Voting Rights Act. Who has heard of that? That's right. That is a vision for a Florida where we are all heard and where this can't happen. It would overturn laws that were passed to make voting by mail harder. It would overturn laws that are punishing the organizations who are out there in our communities helping us register to vote. You know what it would also do? It would uphold the will of the Florida people, the promise of Amendment 4 that we passed in 2018 that they refused to honor. It would require pre-clearance for maps that are unfair in districts that have been suppressing us for decades. It would ensure that any new voting laws are fair. The people of Florida do not have to accept law after law silencing us. The redistricting process should serve the people, not politicians, not political parties. And we are here today to make that loud and clear. Partisan mid-decade redistricting is not what we want in Florida. It is not what we want. The Florida we want is one where the Florida Voting Rights Act is a reality, where everybody has a voice, where the people have the power. Because we draw the lines. Who draws the lines? Because we have the power. Who has the power? Who has the power? Who has the power? And we're going to show them that today. With that, I am happy to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Aurelie Colon-Lowry from the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I love that y'all are so riled up. My name is Aurelie, and I'm the Senior Florida Policy Associate for the Southern Poverty Law Center. The SPLC is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting the right to vote for all Floridians. We are here because the governor decided to waste taxpayer dollars on a controversial mid-decade redistricting power grab while Floridians are struggling to pay rent, put food on the table, and have access to adequate and affordable health care. We are here because Florida voters believe in fair districts. In 2010, Floridians voted to prevent lawmakers from partisan gerrymandering and codified it to our state constitution. And the law is crystal clear. The legislature cannot pass maps that are intended to favor a political party or incumbent. Full stop. No one is entitled to a seat, not a politician, not a party. It is only the people that are entitled to fair maps and equal representation. That's it. We are here because we know that those in power are scared of our collective voice. The collective voice of those struggling in Florida, tired of politicians playing partisan political chess instead of addressing the real concerns of the everyday people. Those who cannot afford to live in the very place they call home. When we come together, those in power see just how unpopular their agenda is, that their political gains come at the expense of the people who elected them. We are here to demand better of our lawmakers who should be here to protect democracy, not upend it. Better of those elected to serve at the interests of the people and not of the interests of a political party. We are here to show overwhelmingly that we oppose mid-decade redistricting and to say no to partisan maps. No to partisan maps. No to partisan maps. No to partisan maps. Yes. Thank you so much. I am now going to pass it to Reverend Dr. Reginald Gundy.
Thank you so much for, first of all, allowing me to be here. I am the CEO of the True Southern Christian Leadership Conference of the State of Florida National Office, which we inaugurated on the 3rd of April. Now, I want to ask you to do something for me, because what I'm getting ready to say is probably going to shake up the world. So I don't care what faith you are, I just want you to take your hands and point it towards me. Put your hands, everybody put your hand towards me. I want you to take about 15 seconds, and whatever your faith is, just ask that I be blessed for what I'm about to do. Thank you. I want to begin this by starting with the Constitution of the United States, which clearly say, even though it say we the people, when you read further down, it declared that indigenous people were less than humans. You go down a little further, it says that we was 2/5 of a human. So what happened was, from the very beginning, it was never intended for us to be we the people. It was about old white men who decided that they wanted to control America and everybody in it. Let me flip the script. We come to the Florida Constitution, which says that we should have fair districts for people of minorities, and then they turned around and they decided they didn't want to listen to the people. My power, even though I appreciate you being here and you organizing and doing what you need to do, my power does not come from you. My power and my faith come from up there. So I declare a curse. I'm a prophetic voice. I'm not a priest. I declare a curse on everybody in this legislative body, to include the governor and the president of the United States, until they repent of what they're doing and start doing what's right. I declare a curse not only on them, but for every generation that come behind them, until they do like David said, create in me a clean heart and renewing me a right spirit. And then you can go stand before God and stop claiming that you love God when you turn around and treat people the way you treat them with this partisan mess. It is wrong. We must declare it's wrong. So I claim the power of God from upstairs to come down here and change this mess that's going on. Now let me close. 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 Let me close, because I'll go to preaching. Recently, I got a call threatening me. That's just part of the process. I'm 72 years old. I'm close to going out than I ever into staying in. So I'm like the Pope. I ain't scared of Trump. I ain't scared of DeSantis. I ain't scared of no legislative body. I ain't scared of nobody but God. So you got to understand that this is a fight that we're in, and it's wrong. Now I got one more thing to say and I'm through. The first time, I'm not going to cut up like that. First time, I'm not a Peter anymore. The first time that they came to draw these districts, the legislative body decided to do the right thing and said, Mr. Governor, this is wrong. We don't need to do this. He called them back in, and he got the districts. He's a lame duck governor. They cowered down the first time. Now they need to man up and woman up this time and say enough is enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I know all legislators are not bad, but if you didn't do anything wrong, you don't have to worry about the curse. impact on Hispanic community. Carla Rivera, Central Florida. Please, next.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. My name is Carla Rivera. I'm the Policy Director for Alianza for Progress, and it's an honor to be here. Today, I want to talk about an issue that affects all of us. This is gerrymandering. This is cheating in our elections. This practice distorts electoral district boundaries to favor a specific political parties, undermining our voices and representation. Imagine a map of your community twisted into strange shapes, but to protect certain interests. This means that the concerns of real people, like a single mother fighting for affordable housing, the young voter eager for a change, or members of the Hispanic community advocating for better access to education and healthcare, get lost in the political shuffle. I am young, and I'm Hispanic, and I want to feel represented. Gerrymandering leads to disengagement when people feel that their votes don't matter. They stop participating in our democracy. And let me tell you something. This is a democracy. This is a democracy. This is a democracy. It's crucial that we advocate for fair representation. Thank you for being here. This is our fight. And we must continue showing up, because together we can reclaim our voices and ensure that every vote truly counts, especially for those who are not here, because we are having their voice heard. Thank you for being here. And now next is going to be Beverly Caucasius from Central Florida.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. A beautiful day to sit here and work on our democracy. We are here to tell them we do not want any redistricting. I am a Haitian American woman, and I am standing on the shoulders of my mother and father who came here for a better life. I, at 18 years old, became a registered voter. And becoming a registered voter is powerful, because when you vote, you have a voice. And today, I stand here asking for my voice not to be silenced. I will not be silenced. None of us will be silenced. Any kind of trickery is meant to decrease and diminish our voice as a people. We will not stand for it. We will not take it. And DeSantis, we are coming for you. Thank you. I am from Central Florida. I represent Florida Rising, which we work for brown and black people in the community. I want everyone to know this will not stand. As I stand here today, it's not the first, nor will it be the last day I come here to make sure that our rights are being kept that way. We as a people have a voice. And as I said, we will not be silenced. We will not go anywhere. And as I look at everybody here, we are but a small percentage of what the people want. There are many here, but there's many out there who couldn't come, but I will be that voice for them. I will be that voice for the mother who had to work today. I will be that voice for that parent or anyone else who couldn't come here today. So again, we will not be silenced. We will not have our voices diminished. Thank you very much. Next person, Teresa Guzman-Pagan.
Thank you. Give it up for Beverly, y'all. Yes, Florida Rising in the house. Hi, everybody. Buenos dias. Good morning. That's right. Miss Teresa Guzman Pagan, Directora de Expanding Democracy for Florida Rising. Today I'm bringing the Spanglish. I am here because I am an impacted voter of Florida's 27th Congressional District in Miami. right? My district has one of the highest percentages of Latino voters, meaning that we have a high number of people whose first language is not English, like me. Here in Tallahassee and at the national level, we are rallying to build a powerful movement that fights for our rights, just as our ancestors, brothers and sisters did during the Jim Crow era and the civil rights movement. We've seen this before. We're not new to this, we're true to this, right? We saw this in 2022 when the governor called a special session and pushed his own map. Mind you, this map is already rigged, y'all. Latino communities are being diluted. Black congressional districts are being diluted. Our power is being diluted. Are we going to let that happen today? No, we're not. Nuestra comunidad tiene el poder para parar esta redistribución de distritos. Es nuestro deber como latinos de hacer que se escuchen nuestras voces. That's why we demand that the senators and representatives today act on behalf of the people by passing the Florida Voting Rights Act. Our people need more access to the ballot, not less. It is already hard enough to vote in this state. We need same-day voter registration. Give it up for voter registration. Same-day voter registration. We need election materials in multiple languages. We need it in Spanish. We need it in Creole. We need it in Portuguese. We need election day as a holiday. How hard was it to come here today? It is about time that we dream up a better, more inclusive democracy. Are y'all with me? Yes. All right, let's do it. Next, Jamil.
When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. Y'all give it up for yourselves. Y'all look great. No, y'all can do better than that. Y'all give it up. My name is Jamil Davis. I am proud to serve as the North Florida lead regional organizer for Black Voters Matter. We are an organization that serves in 20-plus states across the country around legislative advocacy, voter education, and empowerment, as well as capacity building. In 2022, I was ecstatic to be able to move to Jacksonville, Florida. Listen, I heard y'all. Y'all said. Listen, it's in the city charter. You're supposed to say it that way. It's in the city constitution. But I was ecstatic to move to Jacksonville, Florida, a city rich in black history, black culture, and a city rich in black representation. We had a district that stretched from here in Tallahassee to Jacksonville that made sure we had adequate and proper black representation in Congress until a special session occurred in 2022 where Governor Ron DeSantis decided to draw up maps that would knock out key pieces of black representation within the state of Florida in our congressional seats. Now, most individuals would think that the only thing that affects is simply just representation within Congress. But you are far from the truth. There are resources that those particular congressmen and congresswomen are supposed to allocate for their particular districts to come down within their areas, based on census data and based on the needs of the people within their district. And we had, for countless decades, representation that made sure we had adequate resources being allocated within our areas. But as soon as that district was broken up into separate districts, those representatives decided to no longer care about the resources that the people needed and instead cared about the resources of corporate interests and those who lobbied in favor of making sure that they had money within their pockets. And so right now, what we are seeing is adequate programs and initiatives that were happening within Duval County, within Gadsden County, within Leon County, and countless areas within North Florida being broken down and destroyed simply because of the fact that the resources that were needed within those particular areas are not being properly allocated. And so what is happening now? We are now in a space where in 2026, Governor DeSantis is deciding to do that more and more within the state of Florida. Because now we are looking at a possibility of those same black districts down in South Florida and those same black representation districts in Central Florida being broken up as well. But I say right now, what we are here doing today is making sure that we are using our adequate power of love and joy and making sure that we fight in ways that we know how to fight, to speak to our representatives, to speak to those in power who need to know and understand that those resources that we need as a people shall be properly allocated within our areas. So I say it again, when black lives are under attack, what do we do? And why do we stand up and fight back? Because of a quote from Assata Shakur, that it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. And in the midst of that, we must love and protect one another. Because in the end, all that we have to lose is our chains. I'm now calling up next our representative from the League of Women Voters.
Good morning, Florida. There's nothing more invigorating than surrounding yourself with voting advocates from across the state on a Tuesday morning. It's better than coffee. My name is Terry Condos, and I am speaking today on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Florida, an organization that has spent over a century, like 106 years, working to empower voters and defend democracy. This is not our first fight, my friends. Let me hear it from my League sisters and brothers. Okay, we are here today joining our colleagues and everyone who cares about the voice of voters to sound the alarm about Florida's mid-decade redistricting vote. To be direct, this process is wrong. It is rushed, and it is shutting out the people of Florida. We are just months away from the 2026 election. Candidates are already collecting petitions to get on the ballot and engaging with their voters about their respective platforms. Voters are already forming their expectations about who should represent them. Redrawing district lines now in the middle of the decade outside of the normal post-census cycle will create unnecessary confusion for voters, unfair to voters, and will cost millions of dollars, I think $13 million, to pay for this redistricting cycle. Local supervisors of elections who have hard jobs will need to work overtime to make last-minute adjustments to precincts and polling places, and will have to send out lots of expensive communication to confused voters whose districts have been changed at the last minute. Voters may find themselves in entirely new districts with little time to learn about the candidates, little time to engage with them or get adequately prepared to cast an informed vote. Our democracy works best when all voters participate, and these changes almost certainly reduce meaningful participation. And timing is only part of the problem. What is equally alarming is how this redistricting is being done, or more accurately, how it is being done to the public rather than with the public. To the voters, not with the voters. There have been no public hearings at which ordinary Floridians could walk up to a microphone and speak. A draft map was only released yesterday morning, as you have heard, providing no real opportunity for communities to see how the proposed lines would affect their neighborhoods. And the House is planning to take this map up on the floor as early as tomorrow? Are you kidding me? And if you have tried to simply show up, to be present, to bear witness, you know that even that has been made difficult. Special session dates have been changed without notice, leaving Floridians scrambling to rearrange their work schedules, find childcare, and drive to Tallahassee, only to find that the redistricting hearings in the House and Senate today have been scheduled to overlap with each other. Seriously? This is not transparency. This is not public engagement. This is a process designed to be completed before the public can even engage. The League of Women Voters believes that district maps should be drawn in the open with robust public voter participation at the appropriate time in the post-census cycle. What is happening here fails every one of those tests. We call on Florida state legislators to stop this process and recommit to districting in 2032 as the state constitution requires. And I would ask them, if you are willing to violate the fair acts, the fair maps portions of our Constitution, what other parts of the Constitution are you willing to violate? What will you defend? What will you uphold? Because I don't see it. Let's do it, everybody. Let's tell them what we think. Okay, next up is Cameron Driggers from the Impact on Young Student Voters. Come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Ooh, look at that. Can I hear from the young people in the crowd? That's right, that's right. My name is Cameron. I am the Executive Director of the Florida Youth Action Fund, the largest Gen Z-led organization building power for young people in the Sunshine State. Thank you. I'm also a student voter at the University of Central Florida. I got any Knights here? Let's go. And I'm here today because there is no shortage of real problems facing young Floridians. Students and young workers from the Tampa Bay to Orlando, all the way to Miami, are facing an historic cost of living crisis with rising rent, grocery, tuition, and utility bills. At the same time, so many of us struggle to find decent jobs amidst rising automation. All the while, out-of-control federal agents continue to terrorize our campuses, and the climate crisis threatens a livable future. And yet, instead of putting forward even the smallest solutions to any of these crises staring down Florida's young people, our state leadership are inclined to simply cut us out of the conversation entirely. At my school, UCF, DeSantis' gerrymander proposal splices and dices student neighborhoods, diluting our constituency and disconnecting them from Congress's sole Gen Z representative. The three youngest generations make up 52% of the electorate here in Florida, yet they remain the most underrepresented age group in elected office. This proposal, that's right, would shrink what little representation we have to a new low. In the media and the elites, they wonder why so many young people have given up on government, why they have given up on our institutions, why apathy is so pervasive. Enough is enough. Florida's youth demand a political system that actually responds to our needs, not the needs of billionaires, not the needs of corporations, and not the needs of the Epstein class. That's why a coalition of youth organizations statewide have already contacted over 42,000 students in districts targeted by these gerrymandered maps. That's why we've sent over 4,500 letters to lawmakers that right now are trying to get this bill passed. And why we've met with over 5 legislative offices already to voice student opposition to this proposal. We are just getting started. Today, we are going to put our lawmakers on notice. We will not sit idly by while you cut backroom deals at our expense. So do the right thing, kill this illegal waste of taxpayer dollars, and focus on the real issues hurting everyday Floridians. Thanks so much. Gotcha. I'm going to pass it to my friend C.J. Smith from Voices of Florida.
Hey everybody, my name is Zaide Smith and I am the Deputy Director of Voices of Florida Fund.
It's nice to see everybody here today. Thank you so much for coming out. Listen, in the free state of Florida, the constituents choose their leaders. Leaders do not get to choose their constituents. What we are witnessing right now is a blatant attempt to turn that principle on its head. An attempt to silence voters and undermine the very foundation of democracy. This is not about red versus blue. It is about power versus principle. It is about whether government serves the people or seeks to control them. When those entrusted with public office try to rig the system in their favor, they are not governing, they are overreaching. Floridians know better. We know that the strength of this state does not come from politicians in tall buildings. It comes from everyday people. From the janitor to the executive, the teacher, and the farmer, every one of us carries equal weight when we step into the voting booth. That is the promise of democracy. And make no mistake, if this gerrymandered map is allowed to stand, that promise will be broken. Entire communities will be carved up, their voices diluted, their representation stripped away. Power will be pulled from the hands of the many and handed to the few. While they try to divide us, pitting neighbor against neighbor with tired us versus them rhetoric, they are quietly consolidating power for themselves. It is a distraction, and we will not be distracted. Because Floridians have already spoken. In 2010, we came together across party lines to pass the Fair Districts Amendments. We demanded fairness, we demanded transparency, we demanded that our democracy reflect the will of the people, not the ambitions of politicians. Today, we will say it again, enough is enough. We are Floridians. We face down hurricanes, we live alongside alligators, we do not scare easily, and we will not be intimidated by politicians hiding behind titles and power. Today, we stand up. Today, we remind every elected official exactly who they work for. And it is not the man hiding in the governor's mansion. They work for us. Thank you very much, and I am pleased to announce Deborah Morningstar from Indivisible Tallahassee.
Hi, I want to thank all of you for coming up here, for making all this effort to come up here and help in this urgent matter at the Capitol. We really appreciate all the coalitions that are here. And we are voters. We will vote. We will vote. We will vote. Yeah. And right now, you probably know that Republicans already hold 20 seats in the House of Representatives, whereas the Democrats only hold 8. But that still doesn't seem to be enough for them. They are they're engaging in this illegal mid-decade redistricting to try to gain 4 or 5 more seats. And it's up to us to stop them. And so what do? We stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. That's right. And I have some lobbying tips for you. In talking to these Republican legislators that we've found that you can get a little bit of traction with. There's some points that they're a little concerned about. The first one is that redistricting will cause considerable confusion and headaches for all voters. Not just Democrat voters, but all voters. All voters will wonder, am I in a different district? Who's my candidate? Am I still registered? Do I have to re-register? Do I need more documents to re-register? Is my polling place still the same? So with all this confusion and the fact that we've got a pretty unpopular president right now, Republicans themselves may decide that it's just too hard to figure all of this out, and they may lose their own Republican voters if they agree to do this redistricting. And so, and another point that's really important, this is something that you can use for your lobbying when you talk to these people. The message that seems to really resonate with them and gain traction with them is that their newly created districts may actually put safe, quote, safe Republican seats at risk. It's very important to remember this because logic and legality don't seem to make any kind of impression on them. No, forget it. But they are very keen on protecting their own self-interest. Yeah. So, yeah, shame. That's right, shame. And the shame. And that's the way it is. It's unfortunate. But the thing that the problem that redistricting creates for Republicans is that they have to move the excess Democrats from each newly created district to somewhere else. And so they have to put more Democrats into their supposedly safe Republican seats. But with an unpopular president, an inflationary economy, and an unpopular war, polls are showing that many independents and even some Republicans are very unhappy with the current state of affairs, even in the safe Republican districts. So if they add more Democrats to these safe districts, it means that voting in favor of redistricting could make their previously safe seats very unsafe in November. Yes. So tell them that. If they vote yes on redistricting, they will make their seats unsafe in November. Tell them to watch out for their own self-interest and vote no on redistricting. Ask them to vote no. And who has the power here? We have the power. Who has the power? We have the power. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Shanae Jackson, and I have the pleasure of going last. So I'm getting old, so I'm going to take my glasses off so I can read my speech and try to stay on script. I want to start by, we've said a lot about Republican and Democrat, but there's a truth that I sit with before you today. In the November 2024 election, 89 million people did not vote. That means 89 million people didn't feel represented by either party. Another truth, out of that 89 million people, 14 million of those people were black people. The very people that we've been fighting for voting rights since we got our voting rights in the 1960s. And so I want to state that as I actually get started. I want you all to take a moment. I want you to look around right now. Not at your phone, not even at me, but look and really take a peek at the people that are standing next to you. So look to your left, look to your right. Who do you see? Do you see people who were actually fighting for voting rights in 1964 and 65? Do you see people who can tell you about stories like the March in Selma, Alabama, who can tell you about Jim Crow? Look again. Do you see young people here who actually don't even fully understand what redistricting and gerrymandering is, but they know that they should be here because there's something that's important? I want to state that these two people are standing in the same room right now because what we're dealing with is something that is extremely dangerous and more dangerous than any of us can actually imagine. I will give you my name. I am Shanae Jackson. My capacity today is I'm the organizing director for Florida for All, which is a statewide social justice alignment organization. And our mantra is, we are the heroes that we've been waiting for. I want us to repeat after me. We are the heroes that we've been waiting for. We are the heroes I want that to sit with you because although I'm an organizing director, today I stand before you as a black mother. And that is how I got into organizing as a black mom. Before that time, I was a bank manager and I sold real estate and became an organizer because there's a specific experience for people in the state of Florida. I want to name that we in the state of Florida have the second largest immigrant population and the third largest black population. I want to name that because typically a very solid voting base for the Democratic Party is what population? Black community. So when we're talking about Republican and Democrat, let's name it what it is. We're talking about stopping black and immigrant voter representation. I want to state, they want you to think that redistricting is complicated, and it is not. It's a choice. When they draw these lines, they're making a choice of who gets a representative and who gets ignored. They choose who gets a school board that listens or one where the state takes over and schools are closing. They decide who gets clean water infrastructure and who gets a data center, who gets hospitals in an emergency room that close. I want to name to you that the most recent closure, voting redrawing, was in 2022. Madison City was one of those cities that was impacted. They're on the verge of losing their last grocery store, and they don't have a birthing center or a healthcare center. They have to travel hours in order to go to the hospital. I want to state to you, redistricting is a reproductive justice issue. It is a climate justice issue. They are determining and putting up ICE detention centers at breakneck speed because we don't have representation. They are building data centers and black and immigrant communities at breakneck speed because we don't have representation. So for me, those things have been laid out for you, but I'm here with a proposal and a call to action. As you know, that there are many organizations that came together in coalition, because in coalition, that is where we have power, and our power is in the people. But my proposition to you is that when you leave here, that you don't just go talk to the same people in your circles. You figure out how to engage that 89 million people that do not feel represented. And we do it in a deliberate way. Yes, we are in Tallahassee today, and they are in session, and they are canceling meetings and doing everything they can to keep us not a part of this process. But what happens in our representation starts in district in our communities. So the call to action is not just to get involved in a very abstract way, but to actually go and build neighborhood teams. Go knock on the doors in the people in your community and get to know your neighbors. There's a thing that we keep forgetting. One of the largest voter registration movements happened in the state of Florida in the 1920s, and that was organized by black women. Again, that was organized by black women who did not have the full right and capacity to vote until the 1960s. So the full power to create change when we have a legislators and everybody here, the administration at the state and the federal level that ignore everything, is to give voice to the people in our communities. So we can be creative. We should be having session in our actual communities, in our cities and in our counties, so that people can actually learn how session actually should work and actually learn the level of power that they have. So that when we're organizing people to Tallahassee, that instead of 200 or 500, we have thousands of people that are sitting out here on these steps. I challenge you to get involved with organizations that are here today. I do understand that a lot of the organizations here today are also policy organizations, but policy wield power. Again, I restate that policy wields power. So by engaging with policy organizations like Common Cause and Equal Ground and many of the others, and engaging with power-building organizations like Florida for All and Indivisible and Florida Rising and many others that I did not name, that is how we are actually going to get and create the change. This is not over. We are going into the midterms, and although they are drawing these maps to water down the vote, our most recent special elections have shown that if we cross party lines and ensure that this is nonpartisan, that we still can win and we still can flip this and change it. But it starts with us, and it starts in our communities, and it starts with being real about who we are and understanding that there's people that don't feel represented by any of us.
Thank you. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Hey, hey, ho, ho, rig maps have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, rig maps have got to go. Whose maps? Whose maps? Whose power? Whose power? Whose capital? Whose capital? This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. All right, folks, we want to thank you for being here today. Give yourselves a round of applause. As we said earlier, we want to thank each and every one of you for making the trip to Tallahassee. We know this is not an easy drive. It's not an easy commute. And despite them changing the schedule, despite them denying us space, despite them doing this process under the height of a lack of transparency, we thank you. So we also want to thank everyone who stood with us today, constituents from across this state. We've even had some legislators who came to stand with us today. This is not a partisan fight. This is a fight about ensuring that we protect our democracy. And we want to thank our legislators who stood with us today. Earlier, I saw Representative Angie Nixon. We have Representative Rayner. We have Representative Hart, Lohman. And we want to thank the other legislators who stood with us today. This now concludes our rally. But I want to give you all some brief instructions. We have lunch waiting for you all in the back corner. Please feel free to grab a lunch. There's some drinks in the cooler. We have until about 12 o'clock until the next committee starts. At 12:05, we will go into this building. You'll go around the corner, go through security, and you'll go down to the lower level in Morris Hall, air conditioned, where we will have an opportunity to address the House Select Committee on Redistricting. That is why we came to Tallahassee, so that they can hear from us. And so we encourage you at 12 o'clock to meet us here in the lower level, where we will sign up, fill out speaker forms, and demand our legislature drop this partisan power grab. Also, another point of housekeeping, we were supposed to start some other committees in the House starting at 3 o'clock. Well, the House has announced today that they are canceling those other committee meetings. Boo! So, by way of schedule, at 12 o'clock, we'll be here in the House, and starting at 2 o'clock, the Senate Rules Committee is expected to meet, where we think this map will give us another opportunity to speak on the record. So I know it's a lot of changes. We appreciate y'all standing with us, but at this time, that concludes the rally. Thank you.